What is going on, guys, and welcome to the Average Homeowners channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about your fertilization schedule for your Bermuda lawn and laying down some fast-release fertilizer so that we can kickstart the green growing season. Let's get started. Okay, so today we are actually putting down the Scott's Green Max fast-release fertilizer onto our lawn. So here in Texas, our lawns are starting to come out of dormancy. They're getting green, and we just want to rush that green up and feed this lawn as fast as we can. So we're using a 2702 spreadable mixture, and we're going to put that down today, water it in, and over the next 3 days, we should start seeing our lawn green up rather quickly. So after today's application, we are going to wait 3 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to come back with a 16-4-12 blend, and we're going to spread that on, water it in, but that's going to be a slow-release fertilizer. So the fertilizer that we're doing today is going to jumpstart the growing season, green up our grass. It does have 5% iron. What that means is that you need to make sure you blow off your concrete and sidewalks. Even though the Scott's Green Max blend, which I've linked to in the description, says guaranteed not to stain, you don't want to take the chance. Make sure you sweep or blow off all your concrete areas so you don't get that ferrous stain into your concrete. But like I was saying, we are going to be coming back in the next 4 weeks or a little longer and adding that slow release fertilizer down. But today we just want to make sure that we get this down on dry ground and water it in while the nutrients can soak into the soil. So why is it important to fertilize on dry ground and then water it in right away? Because if you're fertilizing on top of wet or saturated ground, when additional watering comes or additional rain, you're just going to be running off your fertilizer. It has nowhere to seep in and it can't saturate the soil. So watering into a dry lawn allows the nutrients to permeate the soil when you water them in and really absorb into your soil basin. That way they can stay there and the grass has something to feed on. All right, so this is going to be the product we're using today. It's the Scott's Green Max lawn food. It is guaranteed green within 3 days. So we're going to put that test and see how it works. We are going to be using our Scott's DLX spreader. Link in the description if you want to find one of these. I got this off of Amazon, but there are plenty to choose from. So our settings on this one with the Scott's Green Max are going to be either 3.5 or 3 3/4 on the spread meter. Now we're going to be using 3 3/4 because we want to put a little bit more down. This is a new lawn. We really want to give it some juice. One thing I did forget, I've got my glasses, need the gloves. All right, so now we've got our protective equipment on. We're ready to get started. Let's get into the time lapse and the voiceover. Yeah. That wind absolutely blew my camera over, and that is not the first time it's happened. I guess this time I'm just happy I didn't lose my microphone or my mic cable because this time it was all intact. We just weighted it down with our blower. That said, welcome to the voiceover, and we are hitting the road fertilizing here. One of the things I do want to talk about is breaking up the clumps in the fertilizer when it comes out of the bags. A lot of this fertilizer has been sitting in warehouses or in stores for months and months and months. And you want to make sure that when you put it into your spreader, you take your gloves, your hands with your gloves on, and break up those clumps so that they can easily fall through the spreader door and hit the actuating arm so that they're thrown over the yard. If you don't, it can cause those clumps to sit above the spreader door and make it so that the amount that's supposed to be spread is not able to get through and be put onto the yard. And this can lead to under-fertilizing in some areas. It can also lead to you not putting down as much as you think you're putting down, and then you can't figure out why you don't have the growth you thought you'd have. All right, let's take a little break here. I'm exhausted from just doing the front yard, but got to do the backyard still and the side yard. But something I wanted to talk about is following your lines. Obviously, with the Green Max, you want to go every 5 feet. That's why a lot of people like to do this when they're still dew on the grass in the mornings. It's relatively easy for me because I don't know if you can see it in the back of the video here, but I have split rail fencing, so I can just go every 6 feet and follow post to post from the front of the yard to the back to front, and keep my lines. One of the most important things, though, is to not look down at the spreader. Don't look at where your feet are. You want to look straight ahead and follow your line with your eyes, and your body will naturally follow that. So, hate to jump in here, but let's get back to the voiceover. Okay, so as I said, this is our first application of fertilizer since we fertilized the dirt before the sod went in, and it's very important that you hit it with something fast release. So that's why we used the blend that we did. It's a fast release fertilizer, rapid release, and it's really going to get into the grass and green it up quickly and allow us to start training the grass and the roots to where it needs to go for fertilizer. So after this, we are really going to water this in. We've got some rain scheduled for tomorrow, hopefully the next day. I'm going to run my sprinklers at around 125% of what I normally have been, just so we get plenty of water on this and we can hopefully get the fertilizer deep into our soil basin and hopefully train our roots to grow a little deeper and reach for those nutrients and not spread out as much on the top. This will allow us to water deep and infrequently, like we talked about in the watering video, and I'm going to put a card for that watering video at the end of this one if you have questions about how to water your Bermuda grass. But as always, thanks for stopping by for the voiceover, and we've got some little nuggets coming up in just a second. All right, that's a wrap for putting fertilizer down. I'm exhausted, and in a true moment, as soon as I was finished fertilizing, the skies opened up with a nice light rain that wasn't planned for today. But the fertilizer's down. This is going to be a light drizzle, and I am stoked because now it's less that I have to run my sprinkler systems to get this fertilizer watered in. So I did have one side where I had a little bit of extra fertilizer left, so I doubled the amount on the spreader to 7. I went ahead and put that down on the side yard as kind of a test area. So we'll take a look at that in our follow-up videos where we look and see what this lawn did over the next 3 to 4 days with the fertilizer down on it. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hit that follow button, smash that thumbs up, hit the notifications bell, and we'll see you in the next one.